Okay, so we're just doing the discussion for the follow-up of the video that got released yesterday with regards to side control and baseball bat choke. We've been talking for a good sort of half hour now. I think the vast majority of excellent comments have already been said by everyone. Sorry we didn't record it, Trav. Hopefully you won't get too angry at us. But just to sum up, Trav's on now. G'day, Trav.
Howdy. Is it just us three? Oh, no, there's a few on.
There's a few on. We got Dane. We got the gang, Greg, Kylie, Ben, Chelsea, yep. Chris Cox, Marshall.
Good, I can see Marshall. Good on him.
Some old guy called Travis Foray.
Old guy's here, buddy.
So, so we just, I started talking. I went into a tirade and I forgot I didn't hit record. So I'll just redo the tirade.
You waited for me.
So 3-part series, we covered a whole bunch of stuff, De La Riva, single leg X guards, and then the sweep. And then we went into the deep half guard and the sort of theory about that. And both of those were really, really good sessions for myself. I learned a whole bunch. And as I was saying to these guys, as I said in the video, wasn't expecting to take much out of this, to be completely frank. I thought it was just a simple knee ride and then a simple baseball bat choke. I started looking into it. And then as I discussed in the video, my mind just was like, wow, I thought I knew so much and I didn't realize I did not know as much as I thought I did. Out of the 8 steps that one of the coaches in this shows, I probably know around 4 of them. And the other 4 I've now sort of noted down and ready to practice. The beauty of, I think, session number 3 was this knee ride to baseball bat choke is something you can practice at home. You know, you don't even need a dummy. You can just practice it on a jumper with a gi. So it's a good session. It's a fun session. Before I was going to throw open to discussion and comments, I'm just going to pop up that video of John because I think it's really, really relevant. For those that haven't been to a John Will seminar, I mentioned in the video, he just has a way of just taking something that you know and just completely reteaching you it from scratch. And you're just like, oh my God, why didn't I think about any of this? I spent hours on knee ride yesterday. I did all that talking on knee ride yesterday, probably repeated myself a whole stack of times. I watched this 2-minute video and I was just like, oh my God, I missed so much. I missed so much. So Trav, apparently sometimes the sound doesn't come through. So I'll crank the sound up and we'll see if I can get it working.
Okay. And then I'll have a chat because, And then I'll show you a back head from there. So everyone come over this side. I'm going to give you a class on knee ride. Look. When I'm here, when you're here, I put my hands on the floor and jump to the middle. And I'm up here in calendar. The problem with that is that it's a race for me, right? If we're in space, who's got side control?
So I've heard John talk about this space thing many, many times. And every time I hear him talk about it, it makes a little bit more sense. And when I heard him say then, it didn't make much sense until he shows the next technique. But just his concept of we're in space, who has side control? No one does because we're in space, we're floating around. It's just a really profound way to look at it, I thought. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
You would know. So as one of us makes space, we're both trying to get knee ride. Callum got knee ride, right? So if I jump up and there's a space and he beats me there, shit, I'm in the guard. So we call that he's regarded. But bottom line, it's still knee ride. I'm the one creating the space. In theory, he has an advantage because Callum's relaxed and chilled out. And the back's supporting him. I've got to do all this work. All he's got to do is get the knee in the hole. I don't like that method. So I'll show you my favourite way. I don't know anyone else who does this, but I get knee ride like this all the time. I switch my base like this. Okay? And then I put this foot here, right there, in front here. Then I get up on my right fist. So what John did then was he's reinvented how he gets to knee ride. So he goes to a scarf virtually, legs out the front, and then jumps back across with his knee. Now, I don't know. I didn't hear it. Did you guys hear it?
Yeah, I'm getting audio through.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, but did you get John's audio?
Yeah.
Oh, must be something out here. All right. I'll shut up. There is no space for him to come inside. Okay, so I switch my base. I plant my foot here because if I plant it there, this can't reach there. So I make sure it's close. I get up on my fist, on my fist because it gives me a little bit more height, and then my knee goes in a kind of a circle like that to hit my forearm. Bang. Okay. Now, once I'm on the knee ride, I've got no grips on it. So Callum wants to turn to the right and make this horizontal surface a vertical surface. So he does that. Yep, can't see my knee will come off. So that's essentially what you're doing, Callum. So I want you horizontal, right, but you want to be a trapdoor. If you can trapdoor there, then my knee goes. So I've got to stop that. So here, switch my base. I hold that shoulder straight away. I hold that shoulder. That gives me time to open this collar. Okay. When we open this collar, I then put the hand in and I put my right elbow over that side. Because now he tries to turn that way. See, if I put my elbow this side, see, over this side, now he tries to turn. And then I can choke his neck. But I don't want to do that. I want to take his back.
All right. So really such subtle little things to talk about the knee ride. Trav, when was that seminar and what was the topic, just out of interest?
Okay, sorry, Richie, just say that again. Something's happening with my sound.
When was that seminar and what was the topic?
Yeah, so that actually was like 2014, and it was a mix match. That video, it came from. I've actually put the whole video. It's an hour. It's awesome. I've kind of got this reel of John doing good stuff, and I'll link it and put it out tonight. Now, here's the scoop, and Richie gets this, and people that have been around Tristan, everyone that's trained with John get it. He is a genius at the instructing of BJJ.
Mm.
So whenever he comes to the school, we have this chat, right? And it's always, and I actually feel that I put him onto this years ago, because I always used to say to John, I don't take credit for it, right? Because John thinks this way. I say, John, give us the first thing that you think was the first thing that people did. And because remember how John goes, well, if you do the first thing, you might need to do the second thing, but you won't get to the third thing. But everyone who's making a video about knee rides because they want to sell the video, but John would always say, and this is all part of it, and we call this the seed drill, and he came up with the seed drill, which is good. I didn't come up with that. But so I always ask the seed drill for half guard, the seed drill for this, the seed drill for that. But what I liked about this knee ride was it was unique. I haven't seen anyone do it that way. And in fact, it's been missed on me. I resaw this today and went, oh my God, I haven't done that. I don't even do it that way. I do it the classic, the race to get your knee. And when John said, is in knee ride, and the bottom on the person on the ground gets the knee in, and if they were in space, they would be in knee ride.
It would be a knee ride, yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool, because I was like, well, what happens in seminars and training with people is there's so much information, and then I'm really glad that I have filmed in my school since 2004-5, because I'm going back through it going, oh, there's some really good nuggets here. You can go and buy a DVD on knee ride. You can go and do this and this, but it's just nice to get his insight, because he's OCD. He's very smart and a genius at putting it together. So I put the whole thing out. It'll be linked and put up tomorrow or tonight, whenever, and people just work through it. There are so many gems. Like Richie, you'll have a lot to talk about there. But yeah, so this, like 2004, I've got a feeling it was a long time ago. Like I found it today and went, oh, because I actually was looking for Royal Knee Ride, right? Yeah. Now there's this thing called, John calls it the Royal Knee Ride, Hegan calls it the Royal Knee Ride, which is a bit different to everyone else's. I couldn't find it, so I will find that as well. But look, I don't want to take over what you're talking about, Richie, but I just feel that that's something we can train. Now you can train that. I'm going to do it on the Sunday session that I have, but you can get, you can sit, you can have a, it's all bullshit, but you can have a kick target, which I will do tomorrow, and you can go backwards into the knee ride as opposed, you can just practice that drill. You don't need a person to practice that. So
Yeah.
I think that body mechanic, that movement. Now, the other thing, just so you know, John's very humble. He rides out there. Like he was when I first started, he was knee riding and all his stuff was around knee ride for self-defense, because he always said that, and he said it in MSD, he said it everywhere, that knee ride, why would you be on the ground? But you certainly could be on someone and controlling them in knee ride. And knee ride gives you striking, choking, disengagement, all the things you do from knee ride. So you don't have to stay there. So knee ride, you're both on the ground, you get to knee ride, and you go, I actually don't want to be here, disengage.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in an MMA comp, punch, punch, punch. Oh, I'm in a BJJ comp, get the back or choke or whatever. So it's one of those why intersections, isn't it? It's actually something I think the school needs to do more of, because it does get you, it gets you a point at least. It can get you, it can set up such awesome submissions, upgrades, and a whole lot of things, doesn't it? Like, I'm just talking out aloud here. Don't let me take over, Richie. You talk as well.
It's really good points, and that's why I really enjoyed it, because I was surprised with how much I got out of it, because I think it's a very underutilized position. And I'll throw open after this and ask everyone, how often do you use it, and sort of what are your thoughts? And speaking with my own personal game, I'm very comfortable with my top game. I'm very comfortable, and I've got, if I am going into a new gym and I've got this one thing I do, and I've done it to everyone here that I've rolled with, I will get inside control, I will loop your shoulder, and I'll get you to an armbar. That's my thing. That's what I've trained to do. Yeah. So what I've done over the last sort of 3 or 4 years is I've tried not to do that. I've tried to never do that, because I know I can do it. I need to do something that I'm not good at. So what I've started to do is I get to that side control and I'm like, oh, I don't really know what to do from here. All right, I'm just going to chuck that knee up. And now I get to that side control. I go to knee ride, and I explained this in the video because of how other people have described it, because I'm waiting to see what the opponent does now. And then I'm waiting to see what they move. Do they come towards me? Do they roll away? Do they do something crazy to my knee? And then it's opening other things. So I've naturally rediscovered the knee ride by way of just how my own game is developing. So when I watched the video, it really solidified a lot of the things I've been doing. It's against, it's to make your opponent. I love that video. It was this video here. And he was just saying that, he does it because his opponent thinks that they've won. He's got this tight side control position. He hops up a knee ride. His opponent thinks, oh, sweet, the pressure's off, and they start moving. But in fact, that's what he wants them to do. I really thought that was a really profound way of thinking about the knee ride. And same with a struggling grappler. This guy's a bit older. He's a bit more frail than your average grappler. He's talking about how he does the exact same thing. He does it as a mobility drill to get the opponent moving as well, which I thought is not how I would have described it, but it's exactly what I'm doing when I use the knee ride as well. But I totally agree with you, Trav. I reckon percentage-wise, it's one of the least used positions nowadays, because there's just so much else, going on out there. You mentioned you could buy a knee ride DVD. I reckon out of 100 people, how many people would buy a knee ride DVD versus a Craig Jones bloody reverse 50-50 DVD? No one's going to buy it. But the vast majority of their game would improve fundamentally if they just had this knee ride DVD. So
just ask the question: is there a knee ride DVD out there?
I don't know. Maybe that's what we do. Let's do it. Maybe this is part of the knee ride DVD. Maybe we're all going to be rich. Dane, Greg, Kylie, Ben, Chelsea, us. We're the pioneers of this DVD.
Can I add to that? Look, in the competition, the ACT, when I had to give out one of the bouts, I talked about it one other time, I was like, geez, just one of you put your knee up so I can at least award an advantage for a knee ride attempt. So guys, you get just whip up your inside leg, like the right, in this case in the picture, the right leg, put it up there and put it on top and hold and stay, and your other knee can be touching the ground, and you're going to get 1 point. Now you might go, it's part of the rules. You just play the rules. And that way, if there was no points scored, but you've got 1 point for a knee ride, you win. Like, it's that simple. The other thing too that I think is really important, Richie's Richie's a solid guy, and his top control game's going to be awesome. Marshall's a lot lighter. Greg, your children, your wife are a lot lighter. Christopher, you're light. Dane, you're probably around. Now you're a little bit lighter than me, and I'm probably whatever at the other scale, at the other end too, near Richie. But the thing is, lighter people can do knee ride and generate force. John Will is 70 kilos. When he gets you in a knee ride, it feels like 100. So it's something to practice. You're going to ride the wave. You're going to ride them moving around. Yeah, sure, Richie will toss you around a bit, but if you can stay on him, stick to him like glue, stay on Richie in side control, he's going to go, oh, you're light, I'll just toss you over. Now, I know Richie doesn't roll that way, but it's an interesting thing. A knee ride can be tiring too for the person underneath.
This video,
okay.
I really enjoyed. He talked about exactly, and Trav, out of all the videos I saw knee ride, not one of them were bigger guys knee riding people. You know what I mean? They were all small guys saying that knee ride gives them a strength advantage against stronger opponents, which I wasn't expecting that was going to happen. This guy talks about exactly what you were saying. You watch this video. He says that he uses knee ride to get a psychological advantage over his opponent because his opponent moves constantly and he moves along with him. This is the guy that does the windshield wiper and the top spin where he sort of just keeps, and he just does that over and over and over again. I saw one of Mick George's black belts that he brought up from down south during a grading. I watched him roll with some of the blue and purple belts, and he did exactly that. His top game was so swish, where he was just switching from knee ride to knee ride to knee ride, and he was just floating on top of people, and they were just getting tired. Just like this guy's weight is constantly on me. It was really, really cool to see. So that again, what was profound to me was knee ride for me. Until I started doing this was I'm going to try to pin you with all my weight and hold you. I've just gone from using my body to using my knee to go to something else. But all these videos are saying, no, you're not trying to pin your opponent. You're sticking to them and you're moving around with them, which to me is a big difference to what I thought knee ride was for. But anyway, look, that's enough from us. I'd like to hear from everyone else with regards to knee ride. Have they done it? What do they think about it? What's their experience and anything they want to take away or any questions they might have from what we've been discussing thus far? Let's start with Dane.
I don't find myself in knee ride all that often. Generally, when I go to knee ride, I'll be in side control. I'll want that far arm. I'll want an underhook from the far arm, and the elbow will be tucked in nice and securely. So I'll pop up to I'll grab a gi at the knee, grab their gi at the knee, and I'll grab their sleeve to kind of provide some sort of anchorage, and then I'll sort of pop up to the knee with the hope that it's uncomfortable enough to push for them to kind of push my knee off, and as they're sort of pushing the knee off, then that's when I'll sort of go for that far side underhook and
100%.
Do an armbar, a far side armbar. But I've never actually attempted a baseball choke from
the knee ride.
From the knee ride, so that's interesting. And I've never encountered this issue where someone's thrown a knee in as I've gone for that knee ride. But it is interesting to know that I can switch base, go a little higher, and get into that position from a higher position, so that they don't sort of retain, so that they don't sort of get retain guard, I guess, or get back into guard. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, what you're describing, that far side armbar, that 24 hours ago, that was my only knee ride go-to. You know what I mean? Get the knee ride, lock that arm, and go for that far side armbar. So I'm 100% exactly where you're coming from. But I think there's so much more that we can start playing with now. Trav, what were we going to say?
This is annoying me.
We got you, Trav. Can you hear us? Trav's showing his age. Can you hear us, Trav?
Yeah, it's just cutting in and out. I don't know if the wire's gone in the headphone or whatever, but it's just annoying me.
Stop being so technical. What were we going to say?
A couple of things. So Stefan Kesting, the one you had on before, you can still hear me, Rich?
Yeah, I gotcha.
The other one. When I first started, and Rich, you'd be the same. He was the main person that had online content.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of his stuff. And then he pairs up now with different people because he was quite a competitor, not world standard or anything, but he's a very good instructor. So whenever I look for stuff, other than John Will or John Danaher,
Whoa! Sorry, hold on. My bad.
You can still hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So for everyone else, check him out. The very first BJJ video thing that I bought was his one, and it was like 101 movements for BJJ, which it's a bit like Knee Ride. Would you buy a video on movements? But I bought it, and I had 25 of them down pat, and they've held me in good stead ever since. But yeah, he's got a lot of stuff. He's also got a book, a free online book that you can download. He's it's marketing and everything, but he does a really good job. He's been doing it for a very long time. And now he's paired up with this other bloke lately, and they've been doing things together. And I do go to them. They put together little snippets of a quick overview. When we have John on the mat, John will give you a philosophy on life as well as BJJ. So it's kind of like, whoa, sometimes you just want the technique, and then other times you're happy for the journey of the feel good moment as well. So that's pretty cool. And then the other guys that I look at, which I really look at the top competitors, they don't necessarily make the top videos, but I've got to say Craig Jones, a shout out to him for his latest leg defense one, Gringo Get Off My Feet or something, whatever it's called. If you've got, it does cost a bit. Best video defensive stuff on legs, and Craig is a classic. He's funny. He kind of cracks good jokes. I don't know if he's American offside or gets them half the time, but I sit there laughing and that. But yeah, so he's got some good videos on that. But yeah, no, this guy's just got. Where are you now? Yeah, are you still with him or are you someone?
Yeah,
else?
Stefan.
Yeah, he's just awesome. He's got look how many.
Some of his videos are old.
Can't
some
go, and most of it you can get. Look, you can get all your BJJ for free in Google, right? There's no doubt about it. But then I say, okay, so how do I systemize? How do I, I've got all this information. How do I sort of make it logical to work? And that's where, having access to John Will's been awesome, because I've said to him, John, and the half guard one will come up tonight. I said, John, what's the first one? And I did a bit of it on the weekend. The first deep half guard, where you'd only need 3, because if you have to use more than 3 sweeps in deep half guard, then what, there's some things that have gone wrong. So John gives you that sort of historic view in the seed drill, and he says up front, he prefaces it. He says it's his opinion. But his opinion does count, because he goes right back. But then this is the other interesting thing about BJJ, is you get these young guys coming through just inventing some really out there crazy stuff that works. So isn't it amazing art how it's got contemporary, and then it has and history, and then it also has this traditional branching out stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's hear from what about the family, Greg, Kylie, Ben, Chelsea. In fact, when I do these videos, I'm thinking of you guys the most, because I'm like, all right, what do these guys need? What can they practice at home? And this was one that I was very happy, because this is one that I practiced a lot during the last lockdown. Like I mentioned, I had my grappling dummy. My kids would be playing Fortnite, and I would just be in front of the telly, and I'd be on the dummy. I'd pop up to knee ride, and I'd do baseball bat choke, and then I'd go the other side, and I'd do it backwards and forwards. And it was actually really good. You can't do a lot on a dummy, I don't think. No, in fact, you can do a lot on the dummy. You just need to choose the right things to do. Anyway, that's a bit of a tirade. What about you guys?
Well, can you hear us okay?
Yep, gotcha.
Cool. We really love, well, I personally, I don't know about the rest of the family, but I really love the way that you guys break that down, the video and the fight and everything else. Because looking at people roll sometimes, it's hard for us at our level at the moment to understand how they get to the position they're in and what they're going to do next, because we don't really have enough background to really understand all the moves and how they all flow together yet. So it's really great to understand that. And we've done some knee ride stuff in class, but it doesn't really flow into any roles that we've done as yet. And to be honest, if someone tried to knee ride me at the moment, I would probably automatically head towards trying to frame in and get a knee in ahead of them. So the way John Will just showed on the video there would that would screw with my head, I think.
Totally. And where you guys are at, and I'm so jealous because you guys have got each other to train with, is that you just, in my opinion, you just have to experiment with it. You know what I mean? You just have to be in that side control, and you got to be like, all right, I'm going to try knee ride. It's probably going to fail, but just pop up and just chuck your knee in and just sort of see what happens. And it'll fail the vast majority of the time, but then eventually, it's going to get there. So it's a really great place where you guys are at, where BJJ is this sea of just limitless knowledge. And I can tell you, 6 months ago, when I was watching videos of people doing leg locking, I was just like, this is not BJJ. This is some weird voodoo stuff. I don't understand. But after doing a couple lessons with Trav and starting to understand it, it's the letters starting to come together, and you're almost understanding what you're reading. So hopefully through this, that's gonna start to happen with you guys as well. So good on you for sticking with it and watching these videos as well. Trav, you got anything?
Oh, yeah, just on that, I think imagine, Richie, you're gonna see some videos, right? I'm gonna put them up, and Richie's in some, Tristan's a white belt. There's one video where I'm a white belt, right? But you go back 20 years, well, it's not 20 years, it's whatever it is, 12. It doesn't matter. I'm a bit muddled up tonight, but my point is, now, if I had this opportunity as a white talking BJJ, looking at fight reviews and understanding them, breaking it down and telling me, guiding me, not telling, just guiding, I think that would be awesome. I never had this, and and you know what? I think a lot of schools out there have this opportunity to do this, but don't actually do this, what we're doing. There you go. And I think it's a bit of a trade secret, because I think they do a fight review, but what we want is that enriched experience as well. So, and look, outside of lockdown, I think there's opportunity there to put something really well together. And then, we might do it once every couple of months or whatever. But obviously in lockdown, we're kind of limited to this. But as Richie has said, him putting it together has meant that, and by looking at a lot of material, you work out the similarities, and you go, oh, that links to that. Oh, I get it. That and that go together. It's a fascinating drill to do. And in fact, I've nearly thought to myself, the process of learning off the mat, not saying it's the same, but it's certainly big, it's massive. As senior students, or say maybe even blue and above, it would be great for everyone to put one of these together, because they would learn. I could say to, or maybe purple, whatever, it probably won't happen, but I can say, hey, I want you to do this. And I know that Richie, to put this segment together, has probably done a couple of hours research and just, and there's a lot of background stuff. And I think that's great learning. What do you think about that, Richie?
I think it's almost, look, we said this during the last lockdown. We were like, this is awesome, let's keep doing it. And then we came out of lockdown and just rolled nonstop. But you do BJJ because you love beating each other up. I think it's always, you're never going to be able to do that. But you're totally right with regards to doing this deep dive. And this is why I've loved my BJJ journey with the Army, traveling around Australia, trained in so many different places. You pick the best of things. You know what I mean? You're not in the one school. You pick I can tell you every school I've been to, and I can tell you their strengths and weaknesses just with regards to the techniques, because I try to take the best. I think that if you, as part of a purple belt or something like that, once you're in, once you can't get out, you're assigned, hey, do me an hour or do me a half-hour deep dive into Kimura. Because especially, I keep on saying this, but it was really profound to me. I was like, Knee ride. This is going to be pretty boring. Anyway, here we go. And then after about the first two videos, I was like, I know nothing about knee ride. I literally know nothing about knee ride. You know, to me, that was really, really, it's really, really cool that you can be doing something for so long and yet know nothing about it. So I totally agree. I totally agree. Marshall, what do you reckon, buddy?
Yeah, so enjoyed that. I took away the observation. You know, one of the things you said about, you know, knee ride and the fact that you're looking at it from being just trying to dominate with the knee on versus a dynamic position that some of those videos were describing it as was exactly, I guess, the learning point of side control, you know, that I was going through 8 months ago, which is that you're not just on them trying to pin them into the ground in a static position. It's a dynamic position. You got to move as they move.
Yeah.
And applying that approach to the knee ride seems to be what's come out of those videos there. And it is a profound difference,
Big time.
I think.
Big time.
And the other observation I sort of got out of it was, you know, if people tend to spend, because knee ride doesn't get used that much, right? Their escapes are probably much more drilled from bottom side control
That's
than
right.
they are from bottom knee ride, because everyone thinks, well, knee ride, you just push the knee off, right? So if you've got a good knee ride, it would seem to be that you'll meet more people that don't have a good knee ride defense.
Yeah, great points. And I had the exact same epiphany as well with regards to that movement. And it was after watching this lady, and she had some really cool drills, and she was just saying, hey, this drill, just getting knee ride and your opponent just moving, just do that. And I just thought, oh, that's really clever. You wouldn't do that. You know, it's not a sexy drill. It's not fun. It's probably a bit boring, but it just teaches you how to maintain your posture, how to maintain your balance, how to maintain that knee ride, and just do whatever you need to do. It was really a really cool video to stumble across as well. Some really good points. Thanks, Marshall. All right, Chris, what do you got, mate? What do you reckon? Got any points or any questions?
You got me?
Yeah, I've got you, buddy.
Beautiful. Yeah, look, I'm pretty inexperienced. Don't really find myself in knee ride very often. But like Trav said, I'm a light person, and big takeaway for me is to work on this and put it into my game.
No,
thanks.
It's a really good point, Chris. I'm a big guy. If a small guy gets in side control with me, it's not going to last long. Just because physically, I'm gonna grab him, I'm gonna pull him away, and I'm gonna insert my leg, and I'm gonna get him into a half guard. That's normally what I'll do. But just like you said, if you're in that side control position as a smaller guy, you're not going to hold a bigger guy down. You don't have the strength. You don't have the gravity on your side. So I think knee ride is another option. And the beauty about knee ride is you don't have to get it perfect. You can just, you know what you need to get to. Your knee has to be somewhere near their belly. It's called knee on belly, right? We discussed it's shit on belly, but that doesn't matter. It's just an experimental thing. And that's certainly how I learned what I knew about knee ride. It's just chucking it up there and seeing how you go. So for the guys that this is new, just go for it. Just experiment. And the beauty is, as Trav said, you can practice this at home now. And I did it with my grappling dummy. And in fact, I just recalled what I learned. When I was doing the knee ride previously, you can't really see it, but I never hooked the side of the body with my foot. All right. I didn't do it. I went from my tip onto their belly button and just try to hold hard. That's the traditional Gracie way that I learned. And recently, when I learned about that hook, that's what I started doing at home in my living room. Just jumping up on that dummy, inserting the hook, and then back down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now the dummy doesn't rotate, so I didn't get to move around with it. But that's what I practiced. And then straight away, when I was rolling to the knee ride, it worked. My new knee ride was developed and it was established just with the stuff I was doing at home. So anytime I find something that you can do at home, I get really excited. So that's one for sure.
And hey, Richie, the other one with that hook is, I don't know if the videos talked about it, but you get that hook and that's your avenue to go to mount, right? So you just push, because you're turning them away from you, you're turning the hip away. The other one that I just noticed too, and she probably talks about it, this lady looked pretty good, was, John Will always talks about the 5 rules of weight. And when you're in side control and you're both meshed together, chest to chest, you're spreading your weight all over them. But in shin on belly, you're not doing that. You're actually pinpointing it down. Obviously, you still want to be like a boat on the ocean and ride it, but you can see how she's getting her whole, whatever she weighs, 65 kilos, putting it through her knee, her shin onto that person. And so that's a really good, interesting thing. So it's an example of what, so the 5 rules of weight, just to remind everyone, are get your weight and put it on the person. Well, that's great. That's the first rule. But if you do that in side control and you're lighter than them, that's not going to cut it necessarily. The second rule is actually focus your weight. And that's what she's doing there. She's focusing her weight. And the third rule, which that's fascinating to watch, it's a great little drill, is that your weight changes. The angle of the weight has to change every time they move underneath you. So you can't just go, oh, I'm up and I've got my weight on and it's pinpointed on the belly. Oh, now he's moved. You've got to be prepared to move with them. And so that drill teaches 3 rules of weight really nicely. And I'll be incorporating that into my lessons as part of the warm-up, because I can just see the 3 rules beautifully there, you know, don't you think?
Yeah, that's a great warm-up drill for sure. All right, so that's enough about knee ride, and we'll start wrapping this up now. The baseball choke. Now, I did not go into detail with the baseball choke because, quite simply, the baseball choke is a very simple technique. That being said, it is not a technique that you're going to pull off unless you have practiced the baseball choke many, many times. All right. So here's my tip for you. Get this video, knee on belly submission, baseball choke from Great Grappling. That's the one that I wanted to work my baseball choke. I had a rubbish baseball choke. I looked at this video and I practiced in my living room in front of my kids. The amount of times my kids were like, "What are you doing, Dad?" I was like, "Just don't look at me. I'm just practicing my baseball choke from knee ride." It's great. And this is the exact way that the kid, the white belt in the video, does it. He uses his initial grip to not only establish knee ride, but to get half his grip for the baseball choke, inserts his other hand, and then he's baseball choked away. When you first do this baseball choke, even against a dummy, I did it at home. When you first get it, you feel it's tight. I equated it to the first time you crack a whip. You know, the first time you're playing with the whip in the backyard and you finally get it to do that crack and you're like, oh man, I want to do that again, because that was a cool feeling. And you'll want to do it again and again and again. And that's when you're in. I know that sounds a bit strange, but that's how good this choke is. I would just say get the reps up. And I'm excited about it because you can get the reps up at this outside of the gym. You're wasting your time to get these reps up in the gym. Do it at home and then take it once we're back in and you've got a baseball choke ready to go.
Yeah. And the other thing with baseball choke is it's so uncomfortable on the person, so you won't get the reps up. Richie was doing baseball choke on me. I reckon I'd say, yeah, you got one, mate. That's it. Now move on. Because seriously, you put the other person's. Whereas on your dummy, yeah, go to town, man.
And it feels great. You feel it. Like I get that dummy in a baseball choke, and I'm like, oh yeah, take it. You're not breathing anymore. So anyway, some weird things happen in my house. Okay. Look, that was a great discussion. That was a great summary. It was a great session and great input. Thank you very much for everyone. Thanks for Trav for making all this happen. Has anyone got any final points or any questions before we wrap this bad boy up? All right, Tristan is on Wednesday, 6 o'clock, talking pretty much the same stuff. It's all synchronized, so hopefully we'll see all you guys there. Thanks very much.
He'll be synchronized with punches and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
From knee ride, awesome. Maybe.
We'll see. Hey, thanks very much for making the time, everyone. Great seeing everyone. Stay sane, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
All right, mate. Good job tonight, Richie. Awesome job. See you guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Richie. Thanks, guys.